Hey everybody, welcome to Becoming Professionally Famous Online Season number 4, Episode 2. Really thrilled and excited to host you today. So the thing that I really wanted to talk with you about today is about doing Facebook Lives and a little bit about how I do them and I guess why. So way back when, first of all, just so that you know, back in 2011, I was challenged to start doing more video, and I'm talking like video blogs, and I didn't know how to do it. I was researching all over the internet. Hey Karina, it was really freaking hard trying to find the information in order to be able to do it. And I was really not very good. I didn't have my words all sitting there ready. I didn't know the format or the structure. I was just kind of like, right, I know I need to use video. I know I need to get out there. And I was just like, right, well, let's just make this freaking happen and see how we go. So really early on, I thought that in order to be perceived as someone who was professional and knew what it was that they were talking about, I thought that I had to be very professional. So my videos in front of the camera to start with were very, like, they were cropped right in at my face. My hair was like, it didn't move. There was so much hairspray in it. And I would sit there and I was like, hi everyone, welcome to today's video blog. Here's what we are going to be talking about today. And it was, oh my gosh, it was really awkward. It's really hilarious to go back and actually see those videos today. Now, if you want a laugh at my expense, go to my YouTube channel, sort the videos from oldest to youngest, and go take a look at some of the early ones that I put out there. The content is still awesome, but the way that I produced them, the way that I felt like I had to be was just it's just really hilarious. So I didn't have, for really early on, I didn't have the white backdrops, I didn't have the studio lighting. I just knew that I had to start getting my message out there and start speaking, essentially. And so I did. And you'll see that, you know, some of them, by the time I did get a rig kit, a background kit, I had a white sheet behind me. Oh my God, it was just horrific. I was like, okay, that's all right. I can just edit it out. It's about the content. It's not about the set, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And anyway, really funny. So I guess with that, one of the benefits for doing pre-recorded videos and things like that is that you've got the ability to say cut and edit bits out and reproduce and add backing tracks and, you know, all of this kind of stuff that we don't have with Facebook Live and things like that. And there is still a place for video blogs. I still video blog. I still think they're really great. It's just, they just operate a little differently to the way that Facebook Lives do. So I guess I kind of cut my teeth on video filming and producing footage in that sense. Fast forward through to, I think it was maybe a couple of years ago when we started to be able to do these Facebook Lives, I was freaking out. I was seriously worried about going live, about, you know, the same things that a lot of my clients, probably every client actually tells me is like, what if I lose my words? What if the lighting's not set up properly? What if no one shows up? I was talking to a friend of mine, my business bestie, actually. I was talking to a friend, and probably maybe a couple of months ago, she would only ever create her videos as a pre-recorded thing and then share them on a daily basis on her page. And I said, you know, why don't you start doing them live? She said, you know, I probably could because I don't edit them and I don't do this and I don't do that. And I've gone, okay, great. And one of her concerns was, well, what if no one turns up? And my opinion on that is, you know what? Maybe no one does turn up. If you go back and you have a look at the videos on my Facebook page after this one's finished, you can see when I first started doing these and nobody turned up and they've had very few views. My opinion is this. There are some days where we get huge amounts of viewers, like live while we're going through, and other days it's like freaking crickets. You know, I'm lucky to maybe get, you know, one, and that's okay. And Karina, you're right. People can catch the replay. So sometimes, hey Kelly, good morning. So sometimes they'll watch you live, sometimes they'll look back later. It doesn't really matter. I really want you to be shifting your mindset from, well, you know, I really just want everyone to attend live. I mean, it's nice, right? It's really lovely. Right now we've got between 11 and 12. Oh, now there's 9. You know, the live viewers are kind of fluctuating depending on what's going on in their lives and in their feeds and everything else like that. But I know that there will be a lot of people that then come back and look through and are able to view it later. The reason that this is really important is because it creates somewhere for your audience to go and get a feeling for who you are and for what you're all about, for the way that you speak, for the way that you articulate the solutions that you're providing to their problems, right? We're going to get into how to do this in a second. But really, to me, it's a bit like creating a video blog or a blog. You go put it up on your website, and that's awesome. And you don't get these instant gratification hits usually, or the instant validation hits when you go and put something up on your website. So we need to have that same mindset when we're starting to do Facebook Lives. Okay, so the reason that we're doing this, the reason that we're posting, the reason that we're doing any of this kind of work is to provide a catalog of information, of reference points for people to go and research you and for people to go and essentially stalk you, right? In a very non-creepy, like peeping Tom kind of way. So it just helps to create your personal brand. It helps to create your authority. It helps to create your positioning, and it helps to highlight and enhance your platform. So if I haven't stated my case for why you'd want to do a Facebook Live, I don't know how else to convince you. It's just a really great way of connecting with people, and it's really real. And one of the things that I love about it is that they don't have to be overproduced. You can go and, you know, invest in the other platforms and do some stuff and infrastructure and things like that. And that can be really helpful in some instances. But to me, the big thing that is missing in every single industry across the board are people showing up and being real. People showing up and sharing themselves. Now, if you're not having a great day, right? And you're committed to turning up and showing up and delivering to the best of your ability. If you say to someone, you know what, not having a really great day today, but you know what, I needed to get out of my own way and I had some important things that I wanted to share with you, and this is me doing that right now. It helps provide a bit of a peek behind the curtain. It helps to show that you are real, that you're human, that you are not fully formed, and you know that you weren't just born yesterday as the perfect person that's getting out there and talking to people. The other thing that I really love about it is that it shows your progress and your evolution in a way that is not contrived, I guess. It shows your evolution and your progress of you and of your personality and of your strength. And particularly, you know, if you guys are just starting to build your social media presence or your digital presence and your platforms, this is more important even now more than ever before than even if you're already a known expert in your industry. Because people love being part of that story. They love seeing progression. They love seeing and witnessing growth rather than just you always talking about it, right? So I'm actually frightfully embarrassed a lot of the time about the stuff that I posted early on. Like it's almost, for me, it's kind of like cringeworthy. It's a bit like for the women in the room in the early 90s. I remember having a fringe that kind of like half of my fringe kind of curled down and half of it curled up, and it was like round brush up, you know, cool blast, hairspray, and then round brush down, cold blast with a hairdryer, and then hairspray. So I had like that really funky fringe going on. There are some things that don't ever need to be repeated. So, you know, anyway, that's my hair story. Just because it's embarrassing doesn't mean it didn't happen and stuff like that. Okay, so Facebook Lives. All right, so we're convinced as to why we need to do them, and I just needed to take a look at my notes to make sure I'm staying on track. The first thing that we need to have ready is how it is that you're going to get this set up. So, Mike, this is something that you asked me yesterday via message. Thank you for hitting me up. So, the things that you want to have are a smartphone. I think that is, honestly, I'm just going to take this off the thing because I'm going to, whoops, it is there. I'm going to show, oh, that's close. So you need a smartphone or you need a laptop. I find smartphones so much better than trying to do it on my desktop. On my desktop, it's like the camera does really weird things and I don't really know, like I turn that way, but my head goes that way in the thing and I find it just so off-putting. All right, now you're going to excuse my terribly messy office today. So here's my setup. So normally I've got my little tripod and this has got a magnet in it. So that's a little magnet circle here. And in the back of my phone case, there is the other side of the magnet so that when I pop it on, it won't do it because, oh, there we go. It kind of like just sticks, right? Oh, look, that's my part 2 of my book on the floor there. Isn't that great? My filing system rocks. So I've got this little gorilla thing and I bought it on Amazon. I think it was about $20. These are bendy legs. Now, I actually attached this to an existing tripod that I've got sitting here. That's where that kind of lives. So now, So the other cool thing about this little bendy tripod is where the magnet sits. It's on a little, I think it's called a gimbal, so it can maneuver around all over the place. So first things first, you got to get your tripod set up. Now, what I also like about this little one is that I can attach it to this tripod so it's got extra height, particularly good for the Tuesday shows that I kind of treat this becoming professionally famous thing like my own TV show. So I've got a taller tripod. I like to sit like for the seasons, I like to have a bit of a set up, and that's how I do it. This little tiny little tripod works really, really brilliantly. It normally sits, I'm gonna go a bit for a, hey, Miguel, hope I said your name right. So what I normally do is my little tripod, so I've got my laptop that I work on here, and my tripod sits here, so that when I'm here, it's got the, my phone sits about there. So it just makes it really, it just kind of sits nice and easy. Now, what I often do is I've got my desk lamp here can be on, and that just moves. So on a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's where I sit to do, generally, that's where I sit to do the Facebook Lives. So this one though, big tripod, and that's where we go. Now, I like the light up from my desk lamp. I think it's a little bit warmer. Sometimes what I'll do though, like if it's a little bit dark, and this doesn't work very well in here, it's not quite close enough, you can buy these little ring lights. I'll turn that off. Or they're called a Luvo light. Mike, this is what I messaged you about yesterday. So you can buy these on eBay. You'll see them advertised through Instagram and through Facebook all the time. This little ring light, it actually just kind of like sits on my phone, and you've got the camera that'll kind of sit through in this bit in here, and you can set it. It's got 1, 2, 3 settings, so you can have it like super bright or not very bright or off. So I find that really helpful sometimes. You know how I showed you where my tripod sits behind my computer? Sometimes I'll sit that on top of my laptop screen and have the warmer light there, and then that one just kind of shines a little bit of a light on the right hand side of my face to make it a little bit more even. Hey Jazz. So that's that. Now, the other thing that you can do if you really want to put on a really cool production, I'm just going to turn this around. Hey Rebecca, good morning. Okay, so over here we've got my a bit more of like this studio setup. Now, it's not set up for filming right now, so just bear that in mind. So what I've got my big ring light, and this is essentially, it's just a much, much bigger version of the little one, right? Of my little Luvo light, that one there. So I've got my big ring light. Then I've got my softbox lights. So the way that this would be set up if I was vlogging is I'd be standing up. I'd have my softbox lights would be about here, angled to the back of the room to put light behind there and give depth. And the ring light would sit there, and then the tripod shines through, okay? So that's how that works. Okay, so once you've got all of that stuff set up, oh my golly, lucky we're on a bendy tripod today. Hope nobody's eating. You might be feeling a little dizzy. So we've got the equipment sorted. You've got your tripod, you've got your lighting, you've got everything ready to go. Awesome. Now what? So what I want you to be doing is always making sure that you're doing your videos, your Facebook Live videos, do them on your business pages. The reason for that, or if you've got a really big following on your personal profile, you might alternate them out, okay? A couple of things here. Facebook are really prioritizing regular content. So think of this like your own television show, like it's your own TV station, and you are controlling the media, okay? So that's the way that I approach this. What this means is that the more content you get up on your business page, you will actually be rewarded with a lot of other reach for some of the other posts that you're putting out there. Facebook are more likely to push your video out to other audiences, or even people who might like to follow you. Okay, so that's a big argument for doing it on your business page. The other really great thing about it is that you could choose to advertise your Facebook Live video and reach more people should you choose to. Now, that would be especially excellent if you had a call to action in your video, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. So, Callie, what about all the people doing lives on Zoom and Facebook at the same time? It's becoming more popular to be live on more than one platform at a time. My opinion on that is just try and make it really simple. Make it really simple for you. And for me, it's just, how about we just do it on Facebook Live? If you need to do a Zoom at the same time, then that's great, but it's a little bit more, I find Zoom a little clunkier. I think the great thing about Facebook, and particularly having it on your business page, is you can export the video, you can repurpose it, and why do we need to be on Facebook Live and on Zoom? Like, why? I don't know a good business case for doing that. Yeah, that's kind of, I guess, my little thing on that. Great question though. Great question. So just keep it really simple for you. I would be doing Facebook Live, and remember, you may not get the instant gratification hit with live viewers. That's okay. Just remember the intention for why we're doing it. We're looking at creating a catalog of content so that people can come and research you later on down the track. Like, that's really, it's great. We've got 13 people live on now, which is awesome. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you. But I also know that there's some people that will come back and they'll go researching through everything. Incidentally, I'm advertising a webinar at the moment that I'm running tomorrow, right? And what's really interesting, like in the bottom of one of the ads, a lady was saying, well, you know, I can't make it at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday. Do you do them at night? And I said, no, I'm sorry. I've got 3 kids. I can't do them at night. And then somebody else said, oh, you should release a recording. And I said, you know, I don't release recordings of my webinars because I've tested it. Financially, it's not worth it. No one buys from my recordings. I've spent literally $10,000 testing it, and it hasn't worked for me, and this is the way that I choose to run it. However, I've got hours and hundreds of videos on my Facebook page. Go and take a look through those. I've got hundreds of videos on my website. Go take a look at those. And, you know, that just, you know, if you can't attend a live webinar, if you can't attend a live video, it gives people other ways of being able to access you, your IP, your intellectual property, and your thought leadership around all of this. So that's that. Okay, so we've got your equipment ready. We've got all of that done. The next thing that you need to have, or that you need to know, is the content. So what content are you going to be sharing on your Facebook Lives? Now, it could be the answer to a problem. It could be an inspiration piece. Good morning, Neil. It could be a how-to hack. It could be a book review. It could be freaking anything. The thing that we've got to make sure that we're doing, though, is ensuring that the content that we're sharing is adding value to your audience. That is the minimum, the bare minimum requirement. It's got to be adding value. Now, how do we add value to our people with content? Well, you need to know who your audience is, and you need to know some of the things that they are working through or dealing with, or the problems that they are trying to solve on a day-to-day basis. So my audience, for example, have had enough with putting up all these Facebook posts and not making any freaking money. Maybe they know they need, like you guys, maybe you know you need to start doing Facebook Lives, but you're unsure of how to set them up, the equipment to use, how to manage your lighting, what to say, what to share. So you've got to know who your audience is, and you've got to have your content ready. So something that I do, I choose to go live every day of the week, except that's not true. I choose to go live Monday through Friday, every day of the working week. Yeah, I don't go live usually on a weekend. Now, on a Monday, I've set theme days, kind of like themes for every day. So Monday is let's get this week started. Tuesday is becoming professionally famous online. So this Tuesday, my Tuesday show is very much a structured story. What do we need to do? This is how you do it. You know, get out there and make it happen. Wednesday is Q&A Wednesday. So every week, every Wednesday, it's Q&A Wednesday. Show me your questions, hit me with them up, and I will answer anything for you. There is no holds barred. I am a complete open book. Thursday again is another how-to day, and Friday is I want to share my big insights with you from the last week and celebrations. You know, what I'm celebrating, one of my biggest learnings from this week, because I'm still learning every single day. So, and I invite everybody to share theirs as well. So that's the way that I do it, because I find that I get struck by inspiration not at 8:55 a.m. every morning. Yeah. I get struck by inspiration at different times throughout the day. So I just make notes about different things that I want to share, and that works for me. For the Tuesday shows, what I actually do is I have a document created before I go and schedule everything out and make sure that I know what it is that I'm talking about. So here you can see, and you just have to get your special mirror reading powers happening. So we've got Facebook Lives. This is what we're talking about. Next week, we're talking about the snowball. Yay! And how to do it. So I've got the dot points in there, right? So that's why on a Tuesday, I'm like going, okay, what do I need to look at? Okay, great. What am I working through? Making sure that it's structured, solving a problem, delivering value, right? That is all I want to do all the time, is make sure I'm helping you guys get yourselves out there in a structured way. Okay, so that's what happens. Margaret, great question. I'll come back to that because that is a really excellent question. So know your audience, know your content, make sure that you're solving a problem or helping them to get out of their own way or inspiring or motivating them in some way, shape, or form. All right. The next question that I tend to get asked is, how long does a Facebook Live need to be? And why, like, does it have to be half an hour? Like right now, we've been running for about 26 minutes. And some people, the thought of talking for 5 minutes, essentially unscripted, makes their head spin off the shoulders and has them vomiting in their bin, in their trash can underneath their desk. So we don't want that. We don't like vomit in the office. Hey, Amy. So your Facebook Lives need to be as long as they need to be in order for you to get your message across and for you to articulate your point. So sometimes your videos might be 5 minutes. Sometimes they might be 20. Sometimes they might be an hour. There is no right or wrong length of time for you to make these videos. Okay, it's just as long as they need to be. However, what I have found is that if you can do your videos at a regular time slot, and if you can let them run, and if you can speak for about 10 minutes. Now, we've got your structure, and I'm going to give you a structure in a moment. You've got your structure. What you will find is that at around the 10-minute mark, Facebook are kind of like, oh, this person seems to have a bit to say now. Let's go and notify some other members of the audience, right? Because it's like your own TV network. Let's go and put this out to other members of the audience and maybe they'll tune in, right? And then they might go, yeah, that's great. Nicola Moras is live. Click, let's watch this in the news feed. Some people will have it scheduled in their calendar and they just rock up. But a lot of the time, when we're thinking about time, if you can get to that 10-minute mark and then speak for an extra 5 minutes, you will tend to get more live viewers on your live video. Now, if you are practicing, right, you might just want to do it for 5 minutes so that no one attends live, and that is perfectly okay. It is more than okay. But if the goal is to essentially build up your repertoire, build up your audience, and build up your ability to speak for a longer period of time. In fact, for some of you, that's not even a problem. You can speak for hours and hours and hours about your subject matter. Like, you're an expert, right, at what you do. For those of you who are a little bit worried about it, start small, practice, and just start building up. All right. Time is magical. Yes, Kelly, it is. Now, Margaret, you asked a great question. She said, I have no idea how people actually make an income or some sort out of doing this. So to me, I don't do these particular videos in order to make money. I'm not doing these videos to make money. If somebody decides to become a client of mine, that's how I make money. Right? But I'm not on here saying, hey, you guys need to come to my workshop. You need to buy my book. Sometimes I invite people to join Spy School because it's awesome. But most of the time, it's about delivering free, highly valuable content so that you guys who are watching can feel like you can get to know me, right? Which is really important, because what happens when we start to get to know people? You start to decide, yep, like this person seems like they are, no, like I hope, like my goal for those of you watching is like, Nicola tells it like it is. She's no holds barred. She's no bullshit. Tells it like it is and is out there to help people. Like, that's really what my goal is. Now, if you can start to get to know me and you see some of the other posts that I'm putting up, you'll know that I've also got 3 children. My husband runs his family farm. You know, life is kind of busy. You know, I'm juggling business and kids and work and, you know, life and friends and everything else. So you start to get to know me, and then you might start to learn to like me. Now, you might like me and be like, you know what, I see some of me in her. I say, I can see what it is that she's saying. Yeah, you know what, I kind of really like this girl. Like, I think she's a bit of fun, a bit kooky, but, you know, down the line as well. Now, when people start to get to know you and they learn to like you, what's the next thing that happens? If you think about this when we're building friendships, right? So we build friendships, and you know, in a friendship scenario, people start to, like, we might go out for coffee and go out for lunch and brunch if we're building a friendship together. And then slowly but surely you learn to trust the person that you're interacting with. And that goes both ways, right? So they start to trust you. And then once your prospects, once your audience learn they get to know you, they learn to like you, they get to trust you. If then you say, hey, I'm also doing this thing, if you would really love to come and join me, then you're very welcome. If not, that's totally cool too. We offer them a way of being able to buy from you or enroll from you or learn something more from you or something like that. And then we can progress that relationship to the next stage and the next level. Now, I know that about 75% of the population require between 7 and 10 interactions or touch points with someone before they hand over their hard-earned cash, right? So my job is to just keep showing up. And some people will be like, you know what? I don't like her at all. I hate her voice. I don't like her hair. I don't like the clothes she wears. Whatever, great, awesome. Go find someone else to follow. That's fine. I'm really, really happy with that. Other people will like it. So I guess if we're looking at this, and this is why Facebook Lives are really important, we use this as part of, it's just one element of your overall marketing strategy, your overall digital marketing strategy. It really helps to build that know you, like you, trust you mentality, build the place for people to interact with you and get those touch points. So hope that makes sense, Margaret. I'm not on here saying, hey, if you guys love my top, like, you can buy it, you know, send me your money. I'm not doing that. I don't have more of these tops to sell and I really like it. So sorry about that. So I'm not planning on making cash directly from this. But what I know is that the more we're showing up, the more we're sharing of ourselves with people on social media, you know, the natural flow and effect will be that some people will buy from you. Now, that might be a long timeline. It might be a short timeline. Your job is to keep showing up and being the truth teller. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, and I trust that that answers that question for you. Okay. All right, structure. So the structure that I would follow if I was you, and if I knew what I'm talking about, and I've done lots of these, so I think I do, I know I do, the structure that I would be following if I was you is this. We open up with your Facebook Live saying hello to people, whether they are watching live or whether they're not. All right, so I want you to act as if there are 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people watching your Facebook Live. Hey everyone, welcome to our Facebook Live for today. Really awesome to have you here, right? That would be how I would do it. Then you want to let them know what it is that you're going to be talking about. So today, for example, I said today we're talking about Facebook Live videos and how to do them and how I run them. And then I started talking about why this was really important. Okay, so introduction, what are we talking about? Why is this important? Now, my opinion about why this is important, and you guys can listen to the start of the call if you're just tuning in now, why this is important is that everybody else is not doing these, or they are doing them in a way that's not, it's like completely staged or whatever. So, and if you look at your industry, there's a big, massive void of people who are too scared, who refuse to do it, who are too worried, who are too caught up in their own shit to actually get themselves out there so you can fill that void with your awesomeness, right? It's a massive gap out there. So we want to play in to where that gap is. Hey, Christina. Nice to see you. So, you know, that's that. So why this is important. The next thing that you want to make sure that you're talking about is some stories. Tell a story about why you're talking about this or your transformation. So I shared with you, the story that I shared with you was about doing those really horrific videos. Actually, Christina, you'd remember these. So Christina, who's just joined us live, was one of my first clients back in 2012. I launched a Next Business Superstar scholarship program, and she won the position. So I think that was like March 2012 or February 2012. So some of the videos that Christina would have seen of me were, oh my God, they were like vomiting. So Margaret, you said that you deleted one of the videos because you felt like you looked like a dick. So, you know, thanks for your honesty, and I get it, right? But it's also, I think it's important to leave those things up, because if people can see how nervous you've been and how you've grown into yourself and into your strength, it's really powerful. So go do another one. Not intentionally feeling stupid though, because, you know, we want to be confident. Christina said, oh my God, it was so long ago and they were terrific. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the content was great, right? I think the content was great, but the way it was all set up and whatever, hilarious. So, why it's important, tell a story, and then you've got to deliver the content. We can't forget that piece. You've got to give people something to do, right? So this is what you would do and this is how you would do it, which is why we talked about the equipment today. It's why we talked about the setup of my lights. It's why I showed you my very messy filing on the floor, and the way that my desk is set up so that you could see all of that. So you've got the what you need to do, you know, how it is that you need to do it, and that's what you're talking about, yeah? And then you can let people know what they need to do next. That is called a call to action. So for you guys, the thing that you would need to do next is go and buy a freaking tripod with a magnet thing in it. It is the best thing that you could possibly purchase, and it will serve you for, I don't know, forever. It's like one of those things, they travel really well, and they work really well with these and with your phones. So I would do that. The next thing you need to do is make sure you're going live. Set a specific day and a specific time that you are going to show up on your business page every week. It will, number one, it will help hold you accountable to your audience, right? So for me, if I'd been given my own way this morning at about 10:30, I was like, oh, I've got so many things I need to do. I've got to read through and edit this book, part 2 of my book. I've got to do blah, 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 blah. If I hadn't made the commitment in my page that I was going to go live this morning at 11 a.m., I would not have done it. I would have prioritized something else. So make yourself publicly accountable to your audience and let them know when you're going to go live, and then you've got to deliver, right? So it's like this really cool way of holding you accountable, as well as adding value to your audience and your potential clients. So that's that. Okay, so the best piece of advice that I can give you is to practice this. You've got the framework. You know the equipment that you need. So practice, practice, practice. Now, one way that you can do this, because if you're doing it on your phone, use the reverse camera so that you can see yourself on screen. It means that you can see the comments that are going on in there as well. If you have it the other way, it's really hard to know if the framing is right, or, you know, you might be like half ahead and you don't know that things are even working. So get your phones out, not now, get your phone out, put it on the video camera option, and practice talking into your phone and work out what camera button, like which hole on the front of your camera do you need to look into, right? And just start practicing. It takes time for you to get used to the sound of your own voice. It takes practice talking to people as if there's 100 people watching. It can be a little disconcerting. So practice, 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 practice. All right. So that's Facebook Lives, how to do Facebook Lives. That's the framework, that's the equipment, that's the layout, you know, your scheduling. Go out there and schedule, tell people when you're going live, not at 9 a.m. Sydney time, Monday through Friday, because that's when I'm live, and it'd be awesome to have you on mine. But you've got to just work out what works for you. Set the time that works really well for you, and your audience will either show up or they'll watch the replay. All right? So my name is Nicola, in case you missed the memo. If you've got any questions about this or anything else, please either message my page. You can put them underneath this video. It's Q&A Wednesday tomorrow at 9 a.m. Sydney time right here, and I'll make sure that I answer those questions for you. If you need help with your marketing, I am putting on a 3-day event in October that you might like to come to. And at the moment, we're doing a Bring Your Business Bestie for free to Sales and Marketing Spy School. That essentially means if you're clever, you would split the cost of a general entry ticket. So you're saving about $750. You get 3 days of marketing training, positioning training. We talk about all of this stuff there in a lot more depth and detail, and you will walk out with a marketing plan that will work for you and actually generate revenue. I'll put the link below here for those of you who might want to do that. If you've got questions about that, let me know. But other than that, get yourself out there. Your audience needs to see you. Use the free tools and resources that Facebook are giving you right now to utilize in order for you to be able to connect with your audience. All right, everyone, have a rocking day. Happy Tuesday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.